What's up, YouTube? This is DBZ439 coming at you with another deck profile, and this time it's Primite Blue Eyes. I recently took this deck to my locals and I went 6-0 in order to win the box tournament. For my rounds, round 1, I played Frightfur Fluffal 2-0. Round 2, I played White Forest 2-0. Round 3, I played the Mirror Match in Primite Blue Eyes, that was 2-1. Round 4, I played Mitsurugi, that was 2-0. Round 5, I played Maliss, that was 2-1. And in the final round, I played Mitsurugi for 2-0 to win the box tournament. I want to do this deck profile to kind of show the differences that I made from my OKC Regionals 23rd place deck profile to this one. It's a little bit smaller deck list. It went from 42 to 40, and I also want your guys' opinion on how to improve the deck going into Justice Hunter format with K9, Yummy, and Draco Tail. So I need some advice on how to improve like the side deck and the extra deck. The main deck I think is fairly standard, except for maybe the non-engine, but again, Primate Blue Eyes has been around for a while, so everyone knows the general makeup of any given deck list. But I just want to know your spicy text going to the next format. Without further ado, let's start the deck profile with the main deck. So obviously, you want to start off with the double Blue Eyes White Dragon. Um, One mistake I was making at the regionals that I didn't make at the locals was siding out a Blue Eyes going second. You definitely need to keep two in at all times. If you need to side out cards, you always side out going second. The third wishes, the third Primite Lordly Lode, and the Call by the Grave. Everything else, if you need to dig deeper, then you have to cut non-engine for non-engine, like one Imperm or one hand trap for another side card. But in general, never cut the second Blue Eyes, never cut Majesty with Eyes of Blue. You always want to keep those engine cards in, and you just want to cut again the wishes with Eyes of Blue, Primate Lordly Lode, and the Call by the Grave. So that's standard, and then obviously one of the best normal summons, if not the best normal summon, is Triple Ether Beryl. So glad that it came out in Secret Rare. I really liked the rarity upgrade, so shout outs to Konami for that. You always want to see this card in tandem with your other normal summon, Sage with Eyes of Blue, because your Ether Barrel becomes your Link 1, and then the Link 1 becomes an extra way to normal summon your Sage. So that essentially helps you play around every hand trap in the game. So you definitely want to see those two, like Ether Barrel plus any of your Blue Eye starters, which either it can be Wishes, Maiden, or Sage. So that's the dream ideal hand. And then obviously Triple Maiden. This card was what makes the deck really good because it gets True Light into rotation, and True Light is essentially your grind game. So that's really nice. So that's it for basically the starters of the deck. For the non-engine monsters, Triple Mulcharmy Fuwalos. Definitely, everyone's making this card, so it's basically maxi for extra deck and main deck. So it's going to be good in every format. So you definitely want to see it when you go second. And if you go first, it's not the end of the world because you just pitch it off of wishes. Um, so yeah, you definitely just want to main that card. Triple Ash, obviously really good going second to help stop your opponent, but it can also help you go first to stop a Mulcharmy like Prulia or Fuwalis. So definitely main worthy. Droll, I think this will also stay in the main because Vanquishal K9 will be a deck. And that's one reason why I really like this deck is because it can play around Droll. If Wishes is your first action and you're scared of Droll, you just search for the Roar and the Maiden. You don't search for the Sage, otherwise you just don't get access to Maiden if they Droll you there. So always try to play around Droll and Nib. That's kind of like my philosophy, but yeah, triple Droll is pretty standard. Double Veiler, I cut Veiler from 3 to 2. I think 1 is too less because if you open one, you can't search another one. So I think 2 is the right number, and not many players are playing around Veiler. If you drop a Veiler, you can kind of telegraph that your opponent's on Blue Eyes because this card is kind of fallen out of the format. But you play 2 because it is searchable in the deck. The one nib, these ratios are getting kind of weird towards the end, but this is what worked for me, and I think nib might get bumped up going into the next format. I think it's just really good against Yummy, for example. Um, but you just play the one because when you threaten with Mulcharmy, you want to draw as many names as possible for non-engine to break the board. So that's one bad thing about Blue Eyes. I'll say is it's not like the in-engine Blue Eyes isn't really good at breaking boards because it's just like normal summon, and a couple of extenders. You really rely on your non-engine to break boards. So that's the one drawback of Blue Eyes. Plus the fact that it runs like 5 bricks. To round off the monsters, one Druiswurm, one Magnamhut. It's good into the Mitsurugi matchup, and then Magnamhut is also a good seals target. I will say I run double seals now, so I was kind of tinkering with the idea of running the one Neo Kaiser Seahorse to search off the Magnamhut because then it helps bridge your Primite engine into your Blue Eyes engine. And then obviously the Blue Eyes engine bridges into the Primite engine because you can just seal, summon Magnamhut search, Primite, Ether Barrel, and then you have both engines in rotation. Okay, so that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. We're on triple Lordly Load. Cards obviously busted. Again, shout outs to Konami for reprinting this. It makes the deck really accessible. And then obviously it's just more copies of your starter. And it's just the whole idea of the Primate Engine is just hand trap bait. And then you can just go into your Blue Eyes combo. The one Drill Beam, you could definitely consider bumping this up to multiples or siding the other copies. I'm trying to keep this deck as close to 40 as possible, so I'm not trying to increase the deck count because I do want to see the Primite plus the Blue Eyes. But yeah, I'm just on one Drill Beam, and you just hope that they don't DD Crow it. And then your other starter, Wishes Eyes of Blue. Obviously, this is the card you want to Ash against the matchup, but the idea is you bait with this and then you start your combo. Or you bait with Primite and then you do Wishes to go into Blue Eyes combo, so that's really good. And then the engine requirements, the one Mausoleum for the extra normal, and the one Roar to special, and then the one Call by to round off the spells for non-engine. I cut the cross out and the tactics in the main. You could definitely side those cards, but I choose not to. Again, for the traps, just engine requirements, True Light Majesties. Definitely do not side out the Majesties going second. You need targets to search off of wishes. In addition to Roar, you want Majesty. And then even pitching Majesty off of wishes going second is not bad because then you just go Tyrant, swing, reset the Majesty, and then you still didn't neg off the wishes. Round up traps, we're on triple imperm. This card's really good. I think it'll be pretty decent into the next format as well. This was primarily for Mitsurugi, where you want to hit their detonator on your turn, for example, or if they just raw normal summon, then you can just imprint that card as well and hope they don't have prayers. Okay, so again, that's the main deck. I think it's pretty standard, but if there's any tech choices that you can throw my way, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll definitely check them out. Let's go side deck real quickly. Again, this is for the older format pre Justice Hunter, but I'm hoping you guys can help me optimize this deck list going into the next format. So this is Triple Lancia. This is for obviously Maliss. Nothing much to say there. I'm on Triple DD Crow. This could be Perulia, but this is pretty generic, and this is really good against Mitsurai and just rogue matchups as well. Like it helped me win the White Forest matchup. Double Chaos Hunter again, just more Malice hate, but Malice can play around this by going into top logic. So you usually need another hand trap on top of this to really stop their board. But if you can sit on Chaos Hunter, you're in a really good spot. I'm on double thrust and then the one talents. Thrust is just more copies of talents, and talents is mainly for going first. It's not really good going second. And then I can also thrust into the Duster, the Daruma Cannon, and the Mistress of the Gnomes. So thrust is more copies of each of these, so I think that's really good. Gnomes is obviously for the Mitsurai matchup. Daruma Cannon, it used to be Sanctum, in my OKC list, but this one I decided to go with Daruma Cannon because it answers Malice plus Vanquish Soul, which is really good. It doesn't end Malice's turn, obviously, if they have the gas, but I just wanted more bases to cover. So I really like Daruma Cannon as a one of thrust target for going first. And then the last card is Secret Village. You can search this off of Ancient Fairy Dragon, so that's really cool. And I think it's really good against the Mitsurugi matchup. It's even good against like Luna Light. So yeah, I think it's a pretty spicy good deck. Again, please let me know what other cards I can play. Okay, so we're gonna go through the extra deck again. There's a lot of flex spots here, but we'll start off the standard stuff. Double Spirit Dragon. You could bump that up to three, especially if you're on skill drain. I said this before, but double seals. I think this is really good, especially if you're only seeing the Primite engine. You want to see you're probably going to go into those seals, and then to round off the links, generic SP Little and Lina. Lina is really good because if you're in a bad spot and like you nib for example, you can normal summon one of your hand traps, link the nib and the hand trap into Lina, crash into the nib token, and then search Maiden, and now you have Blue Eyes combo. Um, onto the synchros, the one ultimate dragon to tag out. The double spirit, you could definitely bump this up to three or play the Azure Eyes, but two was good enough for me. The one Lightstorm Dragon, another good tag out target to pop back row, and then when it dies in end phase, you can obviously reset a spell or trap, so that's really cool. To round off the synchros, it's one AFD and then one Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. I think Life Dragon is mandatory. That card is just so good for closing games. The fact that it can attack and defense, it's really good. And then it helps you play around in battle phase, so you don't get nibbed in main phase. Um, for the fusions, one Tyrant, one Neo. Neo to equip with wishes, and then Tyrant to clear the for going second. And it just really helps you play around like Dim Barrier, and then it plays around like traps because it's unaffected by traps, so that's really good. The last card I'm playing is Typhon. This card never came up. I don't know how I feel about this card, but it was in my OKC list. I don't know if I'll continue to play it, but again, that's just another flex option. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the deck profile. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and again, please let me know how I can improve the deck profile going into the new Justice Hunter format. With that said, have a nice day, and thank you for watching.